If you want to say you really like something, do you say, I like it very much? Let me tell you, when you say that, you sound like a beginner. In this episode, we are going to show you exactly how to say it like a pro, so you sound natural and advanced instead of basic. Stay with us because we have 10 phrases that will change your English forever, and the last one is going to blow your mind. Hello everyone, welcome back to English Lab channel. I'm Michelle and I'm so excited to be here today.
Hey, Michelle, and hello to all our listeners out there. I'm Chris, and I'm ready to dive into today's topic.
Me too, Chris. We're talking about those phrases that make you sound like a total beginner, even if your grammar is perfect.
Exactly. We're going to help you move past those textbook sentences and start speaking like someone who actually lives the language.
It's all about fluidity and sounding natural, which is something you rarely find in standard textbooks.
That's true. Learning this way gives you a huge advantage in real-world conversations because you won't sound like a robot.
No one wants to sound like a computer, so let's get started with one that I hear all the time.
Go for it. Which one is first on the list?
We're starting with phrase number 1. Chris, how many times have you heard a student say, I like it very much?
Oh, all the time. It's the classic move for someone translating directly from their native language.
Right? I like jazz very much, or I like pizza very much. It's grammatically fine, but it sounds a bit flat.
It does. It feels a little bit like a child speaking, or just very formal in a way that doesn't fit a casual chat.
So instead of saying, I like it very much, a native speaker would say, I am really into it, or I'm a big fan of it.
I love those. They have so much more personality. Michelle, what's something you're really into lately?
Honestly, I'm really into urban gardening right now. I've been trying to grow tomatoes on my balcony.
That's awesome. See, saying, I like gardening very much sounds okay, but I'm really into it shows passion.
Exactly. Or you could say, I'm actually a big fan of jazz. I find it quite relaxing.
It definitely sounds more dynamic. It's like you're inviting the other person into your world a little bit more.
Precisely. Now, moving on to another one that can actually sound a little bit rude if you aren't careful.
Which one is that? Are we talking about being too direct?
Yes, phrase number 2. Repeat that, please.
Oh man, I hear that one in every single English class I've ever taught.
Me too. And the problem is that it's an imperative. It's like you're giving an order.
Right, repeat that. Even if you add please, it feels very basic and a bit demanding to a native ear.
In English culture, especially in the US and the UK, we tend to be more indirect when we want something.
So, what's the smoother way to say it? How do we ask someone to say something again without sounding bossy?
You should say, sorry, I didn't quite catch that. It's much more polite and natural.
That's a great one. It places the fault on your hearing or the situation, rather than telling the other person what to do.
Exactly. For example, if you're at a coffee shop and the barista says something too fast, don't say, repeat that.
Yeah, the barista might get a bit annoyed. Instead, try, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the last part. Could you run that by me again?
Could you run that by me again? That is such a pro move, Chris. I love that phrasal verb.
It really is. It makes you sound like you've been speaking English for years.
Totally. By the way, I have a special bonus phrase for everyone at the end of the show, so keep listening.
Ooh, a courtesy bonus? I'm looking forward to that one myself.
It's a very common mistake, even for advanced learners. But let's move to phrase number 4.
This is one I struggle with too when I speak other languages, using I think that to start every single sentence.
Yes, I think that the weather is nice. I think we should go. I think that the movie was okay. It's not wrong, but it's so predictable. It makes your speech sound very repetitive and a bit limited.
If you want to show you have a broader vocabulary, you should try as I see it or to be honest.
Those are excellent. They add a bit of flavor to your opinion.
Right. Instead of saying, I think we need to change our plan, you could say, as I see it, we need to change our strategy if we want to grow.
It sounds more authoritative, like you really know what you're talking about, and you're not just guessing.
Exactly. Or if someone asks your opinion on a dress, you could say, to be honest, I preferred the blue one.
It feels more like a real conversation and less like a scripted dialogue from a level A1 textbook. Exactly. Now, Chris, have you ever been in a rush and told someone, wait for me?
I have, and I always feel a bit bad afterward because it sounds like I'm scolding them.
That's exactly the problem with phrase number 4. Wait for me is a literal translation from Spanish, espérame, but it's very brusque.
It sounds like something a parent says to a child who is running away in a supermarket.
True. If you're with friends and you need a moment, a native speaker would say, give me a sec, or hang on a moment.
I use hang on all the time. It's so much more relaxed.
It really is. Imagine you're walking with a friend and your shoe becomes untied.
I definitely say, hang on a sec, I'll be right with you. It's polite and keeps the flow of the walk going.
Much better than yelling, wait for me, while you're bending down to tie your laces.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit of a crisis. Hang on a sec is definitely the way to go.
Now, let's talk about something that happens to all of us, forgetting things.
Oh, I am the king of forgetting things, but I usually say, I forgot it. Is that bad?
Well, phrase number 5 is I forgot it. It's okay if you're talking about your keys or your wallet.
But what if I forget a name or an appointment? Does it sound different?
It does. If you forget a piece of information or an idea, saying I forgot it sounds very basic.
So what's the cool way to say your brain just stopped working for a second?
You should say, it slipped my mind. It sounds so much more fluid.
I love that. It's like the thought just slid right out of your head before you could grab it.
Exactly. For example, I was going to call you yesterday, but it completely slipped my mind. I'm so sorry.
That sounds so much more sincere than just saying, I forgot. It feels more natural and less like an excuse.
I agree. It shows you have a better grasp of how English speakers actually describe their mental states.
It's those little nuances that really make the difference between a student and a speaker.
Speaking of making a difference, let's look at phrase number 6. This one is about the word good.
Good. The most overworked word in the English language.
Seriously, the food is good, the movie is good, the weather is good. It's the ultimate safe word for beginners.
It's a total wild card word. You can use it for everything, but it doesn't really say much.
If you want to sound like you have a solid level of English, use it's top-notch or it's pretty solid.
Top notch is a classic. It really emphasizes that something is high quality.
It does. Imagine you just finished a big project at work and your boss sees it.
If the boss says, the presentation you gave was top notch, really impressive, I'd feel amazing.
Exactly. It sounds way better than your presentation was very good.
Or even with food, if you go to a new restaurant and the service is great, you can say the experience was pretty solid.
It adds variety. It makes you sound like you're actually evaluating what you're talking about.
It shows you have more tools in your vocabulary toolkit.
Now, phrase number 7 is one that I see a lot in business meetings or formal settings.
Is it, tell me your opinion? Because that one always feels like a police interrogation to me.
You hit the nail on the head. Tell me your opinion is so formal and direct.
It feels like you're being put on the spot. Tell me your opinion, now.
Right. In a collaborative environment, natives use a much more casual and inclusive phrase.
And let me guess, it involves the word take, doesn't it?
Yes, the native phrase is, what's your take on this?
Using take as a noun for opinion is a huge indicator that someone is fluent.
It really is. It sounds so much more natural. What's your take on the new project? Or what's your take on the new office layout?
It invites a conversation. It's not just asking for a fact, it's asking for a perspective.
Exactly. It's a great way to start a discussion without making the other person feel like they're being interviewed.
I'm going to start using that one more often. It's a very pro way to ask for input.
You should. Now we're getting close to the end. Phrase number 8 is about how we feel when we're low on energy.
Let me guess. I am very tired.
Spot on. Again, it's a very descriptive textbook way of saying you need a nap.
It's fine, but it doesn't really show how tired you actually are. It lacks that emotional punch.
To sound more like a native, you should say, I'm beat or I'm exhausted.
I'm beat is such a great American expression. It's short, punchy, and everyone knows exactly what you mean.
Exactly. After a long day of meetings or studying, you can say, it's been a long day. I'm absolutely beat.
It sounds much more natural than saying, I am very tired while you're yawning.
Definitely. It conveys that you've worked hard and you're ready to crash.
Okay, Michelle, we've reached the final one on the main list, phrase number 9.
This one is actually dangerous, Chris. Do you understand me?
Oh yeah, this one can get you into trouble if you say it to the wrong person.
Why do you think that is? I mean, grammatically, it's perfect.
It is, but it can sound very condescending, like you're talking down to someone or questioning their intelligence.
Exactly. It sounds like a teacher talking to a small child who isn't listening.
If you say, "Do you understand me?" to a coworker, they might think you're being rude or aggressive.
So, how do we check if someone followed our explanation without being mean?
The native way is, "Does that make sense?"
I love that phrase. It shifts the blame to the explanation, not the person listening.
Exactly. You're asking, "Was my explanation clear?" instead of, "Are you smart enough to understand me?"
It's a huge social difference. I hope that clears it up. Does that make sense?
It's so much more collaborative. I use it constantly when I'm explaining complex ideas.
Me too. It's a staple of natural English conversation.
And now, the one everyone has been waiting for.
This one is the ultimate beginner response. I am fine, thank you.
Oh, the robot response. It's the very first thing everyone learns in chapter 1 of every English book.
How are you? I am fine, thank you. And you? It's so mechanical.
It's like a pre-programmed script, and the problem is that it usually ends the conversation right there.
Exactly. A native speaker feels like you don't really want to talk if you just say, I'm fine.
So, what's the better, more open way to reply to a casual, "How is it going?"
You should say, I am doing well, can't complain.
Can't complain. That's such a classic, relaxed way to respond. It shows you're doing okay and you're open to a chat.
Right. I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How about you? That opens a real channel of communication.
It sounds so much more human and less like a recorded message.
Definitely. If you use that, people will immediately feel more comfortable talking to you.
Wow, that's quite a list, Michelle. But wait, didn't you say you had a bonus phrase for us?
I did, and this one is a real brain breaker for many students because the error is so small.
I'm curious. What's the phrase?
Many people say, can you explain me when they want help with something?
Ah, I see that one all the time. Can you explain me this grammar point?
Exactly. But in English, you don't explain a person, you explain a thing to a person.
So saying explain me actually sounds like you want the person to describe who you are.
Exactly. Like, explain me. Am I a good person? Am I tall?
That would be a very weird conversation.
Right. So the correct way is, could you explain it to me? Or can you explain that to me?
It's such a small change, just adding that it and the to, but it makes a world of difference.
It really does. It's one of those subtle things that distinguishes a beginner from someone who really knows the language.
Could you explain it to me? Sounds polite and perfectly natural.
Precisely. It's the kind of detail that makes you sound like a pro.
This has been such a great session. I think these 10, well, 11 phrases are going to help so many people.
I hope so. Using these instead of the beginner versions will totally change how people perceive your English.
It's all about building those natural habits and moving away from the textbook mindset.
Definitely. Do you want to keep learning how to improve your English and move from beginner to advanced?
If so, make sure to click on this video where we give you 10 daily habits that you can apply and that actually work.
It's been a pleasure being here with you all. Thanks for listening to English Lab.
See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.